Ready? Let's go back to Proverbs together today. We're in Proverbs chapter 13, and I want to pull out a couple verses, both of which are about money, about wealth and poverty. One gives us more insight into the problem, and one points us toward what we can do about it. Part of the problem is clear in Proverbs 13:23. It says something interesting about poverty. It says, "The fallow ground of the poor would yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice." The fallow ground of the poor would yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. That is an interesting statement, basically saying that if the world were working right, those who don't have enough to eat would be able to grow enough food to eat. But the ground lies fallow because of all sorts of injustice, because of all sorts of things that people do, whether it's their greed or treating people unfairly or just taking everything for themselves. I guess I am just repeating the same idea over and over again in different words. It's because of human injustice that the ground sometimes lies fallow and the poor don't have enough food. And we can say, well, that's troubling, that's upsetting, but what am I supposed to do about it? There's probably quite a few things we could do about it. One of those things is to learn to be generous, is to learn to be unsparing with our own lifestyle, so that we can try in our small way, in the context of macroeconomics, in our small way to address that injustice. And that's what I think of when I read verse 7, Proverbs 13:7, which says, "One pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth." It reminds me of what Jesus says about storing up wealth, not here, but where moth and rust can't destroy, storing up treasure in heaven, where it is secure. Because so many people around us pretend to be rich, but at the end of the day, they really have nothing. The wise person pretends to be poor. You look at the way she lives and you think, does she really have enough? She doesn't have all the things and gadgets and stylish, new stuff that everybody else has. Pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. And that is one of the keys to addressing that injustice, is being unsparing with our own wealth and willing to question whether we are critical enough about our own lifestyle. It reminded me of something I read this morning in this book one of my mentors recommended, "Brothers, We Are Not Professionals" by John Piper, a book for pastors. And I found this very convicting, where he says to pastors, "Brothers, we are leaders, and the burden of change lies most heavily on us. The place to start is our own lives. Is it the thrill of your life to live in such a sacrificial way that all can see that God is your treasure, not things? Are your home and clothes and cars and recreation the mark of a wartime lifestyle? Is your giving to the church pace setting? Not that your people will know what you give, but God does. Does your burden for the unreached and the poor stab your people's love for luxury and comfort?" I find that very convicting, and probably many of us should be willing for our love of luxury and comfort to be stabbed in order that our burden for the unreached and the poor could grow and grow. God will help us, and in this we can honor him.